We're putting our life on the line next on Worldsport as we meet up with two-time slackline world champion Andy Lewis for an introduction to the sport.
What is slacklining? With the sport still in its infancy, it's a difficult question to answer at this point. But one man perhaps better qualified than any other to talk about it is the two-time world champion, American Andy Lewis.
Well, slackline right now is a developing sport. It's basically walking on webbing. The sport got started in California, Yosemite National Park, and climbers were getting bored on rainy days and walking on chains. And the chains are really loose, and it took them a while to figure it out. And eventually they said, well, we've got all these ropes, why not just set up climbing ropes? So they set up climbing ropes, and they set up webbing, and eventually the webbing got tighter, and people started getting air. And in 2006, I landed the first backflip, and that kind of started the trick lining movement. And ever since then, we've had a lot of people get very, very excited about the sport. We have people all around the world bringing in things from like ballet and breakdancing even, and putting it onto the line, and it develops this new style of slacklining. And that's the sport that's developing right now, is trick line, long line, high line. Those are the three really big parts of slacklining.
Not surprisingly, safety is one of the biggest factors, especially for the high and long lines. But even when you're attached to the safety line, it doesn't lessen the fear factor for those who test the air up there.
Safety is kind of a relative term. Certain people need to be safe. For me, I can control myself on the line, so without a harness, I'm still safe. If I fall, I'll catch. You know, if I don't catch, I die, but you know, I have to be focused, and that's what really keeps it fun, is because with a leash on, you can play around, have fun, you're safe. You know, that's why we can bring all these people out here and have a lot of fun together, because you just tie them in, don't have to worry about it.
But slackline isn't just reserved for those with a head for heights. On ground level, another branch has formed of late. That's a trick lining, a set of short lines allowing the athletes to express themselves through a wide variety of tricks and flips.
Trick lining is more about the fact that you're not scared of falling. You can do whatever you want and fall. So if you backflip, you don't need to land on the line. But if you backflip on this line and miss, you're taking a hard fall, you know? So trick lining is about being able to open up anything. You know, it's the diversity of what you can do on a trick line is huge. It's about big air. It's about long, extended flips and spins. It's about creativity and kind of beating yourself up physically. It's a really hard sport. You get hurt. You scrape your knees, you hurt your ankles, you twist your knees, you twist your arms. Now, from all around the world, we have people who want to trick line. And over the last couple of years, we have developed a lot of tricks to do on the slack line. So we've got people who've only been slacklining for a year doing things that took us 5 or 6 years to learn, because they see it, they know it, they can study it. So now we're getting to this point where progression is going to just skyrocket, and the sport is just going to expand exponentially for the next 5 or 10 years. And then hopefully we'll get to a point where there's not really much that hasn't been done, and then we can really get competitions going. Because now when you go to a competition, you're like, what did those 3 people just do? I haven't seen any of those tricks before, you know? So that's what's kind of complex about it. It's still developing. It's still a new sport.
So just what is the future for slackline? Will it continue to expand? And what are Andy's own plans?
I kind of envision the slack life for myself. I like to live my life surrounded by balance and slacklining, and looking for the most beautiful places, and trying to develop myself physically for long lining, and trying to develop myself mentally for high lining, and trying to mentally and physically be in shape for trick lining, and staying with basically the way the sport's developing. And the way I see it developing is everybody living the slack life, getting people from all around the world obsessed with balance and slacklining and pushing it to all edges of possibility.